Good morning.
Good morning.
Dean Thomas, Deputy Dean Rivoli, Father Rogers, distinguished guests, faculty, parents, family, friends, and graduating students. It is my pleasure to welcome you to the 56th Tropaia exercises of the McDonough School of Business. I am Norianne Sharp, Senior Associate Dean and Director of the Undergraduate Program. Today we assemble to honor our graduates and faculty of the school who have distinguished themselves academically, through their contributions to the school, or through extraordinary service to our community. We are very proud of these students and of the faculty and what they have achieved. And we are pleased to have parents, family, and friends with us today to celebrate their achievements. Please stand for the invocation to be offered by the Reverend Patrick Rogers of the Society of Jesus.
Let us pray. God of day and God of darkness, God of time and God of eternity, all things have their being and strength in you. As we come before you on this beautiful morning, we are filled with gratitude for all blessings received. Be with us now as we celebrate your goodness to us. Be with us now as we celebrate the achievements of these beautiful students. We ask this all in your holy name. Amen.
Please be seated. We will begin our ceremony today with the presentation of awards to students for their academic excellence. Each award recognizes the extraordinary efforts of students in the major area of business studies. These awards are given as a tribute to our students with the generous support of individuals, associations, and companies with close ties to Georgetown University and the McDonough School of Business. We thank all of them and acknowledge their continued support. We will begin with Professor Kirsten Anderson, who will present the awards in accounting. Professor Anderson.
Thank you, Dean Sharp. Please hold your applause until all of the accounting recipients have been recognized. All awardees will ascend on the right and descend on the left. Will the following graduates please come forward and remain on stage until the accounting awards have been completed? Paul J. Berry, Joshua E. Eisman, Kimberly A. Ransom, Russell B. Kruder, Lee W. Keller, Craig A. Melker. This year, the Deloitte Award for Accounting Excellence is awarded to Paul J. Berry. Paul will work in the assurance practice at the firm PricewaterhouseCoopers. The George Houston Accounting Achievement Award, donated by the late and former professor at the McDonough School of Business, George Houston, recognizes the senior attaining the highest academic achievement in the field of accounting. This year, the award goes to 2 students, Joshua E. Eisman and Kimberly A. Ransom. Joshua will join Morgan Stanley as an investment banking analyst, and Kimberly will be an investment banking analyst at JP Morgan. For excellence in academic achievement and for a positive attitude, both in the classroom and more broadly toward the field of accounting, Russell B. Kruder is recognized with the McDonough School of Business Accounting Faculty Award for academic excellence. Russell will be a consultant with Monitor Deloitte in New York City. Lee W. Keller and Craig A. Melker are this year's recipients of the Georgetown Accounting Society Award for Service and Excellence. I'm happy to report that Lee will be working in the investment banking division at JP Morgan, and Craig will work in investment banking at Credit Suisse. Please join me in congratulating these outstanding students. It is my pleasure to welcome Professor Rohan Williamson to the podium to present the Finance Awards.
Thank you, Professor Anderson. Will the following graduates please come forward and remain on the stage until the Finance Awards have been completed? Amanda Applebaum, Gregory M. Dement, Lee W. Keller, William Z. Skolnick, John A. Nessef, Bridget E. Lenahan, Jeremy E. Baileys, Allison J. Sorrentino, Robert J. Betts, Kimberly A. Ransom, Christina P. Tequila, the McDonough School of Business Finance Faculty Award for Academic Excellence is awarded to Amanda Applebaum. Amanda will join JP Morgan in their investment banking division. The Robert and Lauren Steers Award for Excellence in Real Estate Finance is given to Gregory M. Dement. Gregory will work at Morgan Stanley Investment Banking Division. The Michael G. Saros Award for Achievement in Investments is given to Lee W. Keller. Lee will work in investment banking at JP Morgan. The award for achievement in banking is presented, the Center for Financial Markets and Policy Award for Achievement in International Finance is given to John M. Nessef. John will join Jeffries & Company for investment banking. The award for achievement in banking is presented to Bridget E. Lenahan. Bridget will be moving to Chicago, Illinois to work as a private banking analyst at JP Morgan. The award for achievement in corporate finance is presented to Jeremy E. Baileys. Jeremy will be working in New York at Goldman Sachs as a trader. Okay, now we're back in the right order. The Center for Financial Markets and Policy Award for Achievement in Finance is presented to William Z. Skolnick. William will join Barclays in New York City as an investment banker. The award for achievement in financial services is given to Allison J. Sorrentino. Allison will work at Barclays in New York as an investment banking analyst. Am I out of order again? Okay, where am I? Okay. So that's what happens when you go out of order. Okay. That's right. Okay. The Credit Suisse Award for Excellence in Finance is given to Robert J. Betts. Robert will work in equity research at Credit Suisse. Okay, there we go. There's too many of these. The Financial Management Association Award for Service is given in recognition for service to the discipline of finance. Is awarded to Kimberly A. Ransom and Christina P. Tequila. Kimberly will work as an investment banking analyst at J.P. Morgan, while Christina will join Barclays in investment banking. Please join me in congratulating these outstanding students. Lastly, I would like to recognize the members of the graduating class who have been inducted into the Financial Management Association National Honor Society. The FMA National Honor Society recognizes members of the FMA who have high academic achievement. Will the following students please stand and be recognized? Taylor S. Agasian, Amanda Applebaum, Jeremy E. Baileys, Scott R. Berman, Patrick R. Clancy, Christina P. Tequila, Dylan R. Dietrich, Michael P. Hauser, Lee W. Keller, Kimberly A. Ransom, Kenneth A. Ryan, Serena L. Sandi, Allison P. Sorrentino. Please join me in congratulating the newest members of the FMA Honor Society. Professor Charles Scuba will now present the International Business Awards. Professor Scuba.
Will the following graduates please come forward and remain on stage until the International Business Awards have been completed? Dunya Panik, Jessica Douglas, and Nicholas J. Maida. The Interlink Capital Strategies Corporation has donated an award for outstanding performance in the study of international business. The award goes to Dunya Panik. After graduation, Dunya will work at CFPB as a financial analyst. The Ilka A. Ronkainen Award for International Business and Marketing is given to a student who achieves high academic achievement in both the marketing and international business fields. This year's recipient is Jessica Douglas. Jessica will join Applied Predictive Technologies as a marketing analyst on the West Coast. The McDonough School of Business International Business Faculty Award for Academic Excellence is awarded to Nicholas J. Maida. Nicholas will attend Cornell Law School beginning this fall. Professor Douglas McCabe will now present the Management Awards. Professor McCabe.
Thank you, Professor Scuba. Will the following graduates please come forward and remain on stage until the Management Awards have been completed? Anna P. Calvo, Douglas J. Bedini, Joseph M. Friedrich, Mary B. Siraki, James S. Lee, Isha Maharashwari. The offices of the National Director and the Director of Public and International Affairs of the U.S. Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service present a plaque to a senior who has achieved excellence in the study of negotiation, mediation, and alternative dispute resolution. Anna P. Calvo is this year's honoree. Anna will be an investment banking analyst at J.P. Morgan and Chase Company in New York, New York. The Gannett Company, publisher of USA Today and scores of other daily newspapers, presents an award to the student who has achieved academic excellence in the study of negotiation, arbitration, and labor relations. Douglas J. Bedini is this year's recipient. Upon graduation, Douglas will attend Georgetown Law in the fall. The William J. Curtin Award for Academic Excellence and Leadership, which was to establish to honor the late William J. Curtin, Chairman of the Board of Directors of Georgetown University from 1992 to 1995, goes to Joseph M. Friedrich. Joseph is in the process of applying to medical school to begin in the fall of 2014. During his gap year, he will continue his research and engage in volunteer work in Latin America. This year, the William J. Usry Award for Academic Excellence in Negotiation, Mediation, and Conflict Resolution, which was established to recognize the former U.S. Secretary of Labor and one of this nation's most distinguished mediators, is given to Mary B. Siraki. Mary will be an assistant buyer at Neiman Marcus. The Swift Glass Company, a leading fabricator of flat glass components for the defense, medical imaging, and semiconductor industries, sponsors the Award for Academic Excellence in Innovation. The recipient is James S. Lee. James will continue to operate his own company, Encore, after graduation, which he established as a first-year student. The McDonough School of Business Management Faculty Award for Academic Excellence in Human Capital and Human Resource Management is presented to Isha Maharashwari. Isha will be in the Human Resource Rotational Program at Capital One Bank. please join me in congratulating these outstanding students. And now the awards for excellence in marketing will be presented by Professor Kurt Carlson.
Thank you, Professor McCabe. Will the following graduates please come forward and remain on stage until the marketing awards have been completed? Carolyn E. Vetrano, Laura R. Kelly, Russell B. Kruder, Laura H. Brayton. The Johnny K. Johansson International Marketing Award is given to the student with outstanding academic achievement in the study of international marketing. This year it is presented to Carolyn E. Vetrano. Carolyn will join Booz Allen Hamilton as a strategic communications consultant. The IMAX Marketing Research Award is given to the senior marketing major who has performed at a level of excellence in marketing research coursework. The recipient is Laura R. Kelly. After graduation, Laura will work at an advertising agency in Los Angeles, California. The IMAX Marketing Scholar Award is given to the senior marketing major who has demonstrated the highest level of scholastic achievement in the study of marketing. Congratulations to Russell Kruder, who is the recipient of this year's award. Russell will work as a consultant for Monitor Deloitte in New York. Laura Brayton's not here, but it would be remiss to not note her. So the recipient of this year's McDonough School of Business Marketing Faculty Award for Academic Excellence is Laura Brayton. Laura will be attending NYU in law school this fall. Will the following members of Alpha Mu Alpha, the National Honor Society in the field of marketing, please stand to be recognized? Sergei Alexshenko, Dmitry Brelu, Laura Brayton, Aaron Cawley, Jordan Dansky, Jacqueline P. Dewey, Dylan Dietrich, Jessica Douglas, Mitchell Feinberg, Montina Felice, Daniel Filipponi, Nadia Ibrahim, Shayna Jordan, Laura Kelly, Russell Kruder, James Lee, Claire Magliola, Catherine Murphy, Zhenyi Shi, Andrew Sussman, and Patrick Wyman. Please join me in congratulating these, the newest members of Alpha Mu Alpha. In the area of operations and information management, Professor Bonnie Montano will recognize those students who have distinguished themselves in both academics and service.
Thank you, Professor Carlson. Will the following graduates please come forward and remain on stage until the OPM awards have been completed? Michael J. Crouch, Megan M. Michaels, and Mitchell R. Feinberg. The Deloitte Award for Operations and Information Management is presented to Michael J. Crouch. After graduation, Michael will join the Technology Strategy Division of Goldman Sachs. Oh, Michael. The PricewaterhouseCoopers Award for Service and Scholarship in Operations and Information Management is awarded to Megan M. Michaels for her high level of service to the discipline in combination with a high level of scholarship. Megan will attend NYU Law School beginning this fall. Mitchell R. Feinberg is the recipient of the McDonough School of Business Operations and Information Management Faculty Award for Academic Excellence. After graduation, Mitchell will join E-Variant in Farmington, Connecticut. Dean Sharp, this concludes the recognition of academic achievements within the school's majors.
Thank you, Professor Montano. It is now my honor and pleasure to recognize the students who have distinguished themselves academically and have given of themselves in service to others. Our first award is in honor of Reverend Joseph Seebies of the Society of Jesus and the founder of the undergraduate business program at Georgetown. A Hungarian Jesuit with a Harvard doctorate in Far Eastern Studies, Father Seebies believed that the development of healthy trade among nations was an essential key to world peace. He championed the founding of the business school and served as its first regent and acting director from 1964 to 1966. In 1979, the business school established the Father Seebies Award to be presented to a member of the graduating class who has made a significant overall contribution to the welfare and reputation of the school. This year's recipient is Quentin B. Eusebio. Quentin Eusebio has been a leader in our Peer Ambassador program and helped to start the new McDonough Global Student Association in 2012. In addition, he was a team leader for students who participated in case competitions over the past 2 years. Even though he completed his degree in December, Quentin has continued to serve as an ambassador for the school during our annual admissions activities. It is a pleasure for me to award Quentin B. Eusebio the Reverend Joseph S. Seebies Award. The Ottmar Winkler Award was established in 1993 by the Winkler family through the initiative of James P. Winkler and his wife, Mary. This award honors a graduating senior who has distinguished him or herself by demonstrating a strong concern for others and the less privileged. This year, the Ottmar Winkler Award is presented to 2 deserving students, Carlos Chung and Christopher White. Please come to the stage. Carlos Chung, a graduating senior in management with minors in Chinese and computer science, has consistently given of himself in numerous ways and through a variety of organizations. Since his first year at Georgetown, Carlos has been extremely generous with his time as it relates to helping others. For each of the 3 Year Up case competitions held at McDonough, he has volunteered to coach these inner-city students served by Year Up in a year-long IT training and educational program. Additionally, he has served on the McDonough Academic Council since 2009. Outside of Georgetown, he has lent his leadership and mentoring skills to a number of formal and informal organizations such as Best Buddies, DC Central Kitchen, NIH, DC Senior Homes, KIPP Charter School, and Anacostia Watershed, to name a few. Finally, as part of Code Now, Carlos has provided computer and educational training to a group of high school students on Saturdays. Carlos has truly embraced his responsibility as a man for others while at Georgetown McDonough. For this reason, we believe he is most deserving of the 2013 Ottmar Winkler Award. Please congratulate Carlos Chung.
Let me add a few words on this. As a member of the Business Schools Admissions Committee for 43 years, I came to appreciate the exceptional quality of the applicants admitted to our business school. So all of you are top students to begin with. The seniors assembled here this morning are at the top of this year's graduating class to receive awards for having excelled in a variety of subjects. This award is different. It's given to a senior who has excelled in service to less fortunate and disadvantaged young people. It is an award for being a generous and good person. It was established 20 years ago by members of my family, particularly my son James, a 1981 graduate of this business school, and his wife Mary. Both have PhDs now. This award has been given to one or two deserving seniors, except in 2010, when there was no single senior who qualified. This year's two graduating seniors clearly deserve this award, Carlos Chung and Christopher White. Both have distinguished themselves with their concern for others on campus, as well as for disadvantaged youngsters off campus. Neither was aware that there would be an award for such activities. They performed their service out of a sense of justice, love, and fairness to the less fortunate. Congratulations to you, Carlos and Christopher, and to your families who formed you in the remarkable persons you are.
I'm going to say a few more words about Christopher White. As a finance major, Christopher White has distinguished himself through his compassionate concern for the less fortunate. Christopher was actively involved in Georgetown University's Sorsum Corda project in inner city Washington as a leader and a dedicated tutor of disadvantaged youth. He successfully helped bridge the cultural and educational gap through his efforts, and thus improving their chances to be productive citizens. Christopher did this without thoughts of recognition, out of the goodness of his heart and a deep sense of social justice, while forgoing alternative pursuits on campus. This award for Christopher's selfless service to the less fortunate is given in the hope that future business leaders among our graduates will be inspired to lead with integrity and with a caring attitude for all. Please congratulate Christopher White. I want to thank Professor Winkler for his kind and wise words. He has been a longtime faculty and supporter of Georgetown, and it's an honor to continue to have Professor Winkler with us here each and every year. So thank you, Professor Winkler. The next student award is the Undergraduate Dean's Award, given to recognize a graduating senior of the McDonough School of Business who has made the most significant overall contribution in the area of social enterprise or social entrepreneurship, either in the local or global community. This year's recipient is James S. Lee. Since his first year at Georgetown, McDonough, James Lee has been passionate about using his ingenuity to benefit those around him. As a member of the first class of Compass Fellows, James distinguished himself. Since then, he has competed in multiple competitions and garnered numerous awards and recognition for his company, Encore, which helps nonprofits strengthen their communication strategies with their current and potential donor base. Encore continues to flourish and recently won seed funding to take the company to the next level. As a member of the first class of Entrepreneurship Fellows, James Lee has also stood out by winning awards through the Startup Hoya Challenge. It is for these reasons and many more that James Lee was chosen to receive the Undergraduate Dean's Award for Social Entrepreneurship. We will now recognize those students who have been honored by induction. Actually, I'm skipping one. I'm going to go back. Will the following students please stand? James Lee, Kevin Miller, and Jeffrey Stefanis. It is my honor to recognize these three students who recently received seed funding as the recipients of the inaugural undergraduate program Entrepreneurship Fellows Award for their business plans in the areas of nonprofit management, sustainability, and entertainment management. Please join me in congratulating these students. We will now recognize those students who have been honored by induction into National Academic Honor Societies. One member of the class of 2013 has been inducted into Alpha Sigma Nu, the Jesuit Honor Society for loyalty, scholarship, and service. Will William Skolnick please stand and be recognized? "35 students from the class of 2013 have been inducted into Beta Gamma Sigma, the International Business Honor Society. Their names are listed in the program and can be recognized by their blue and gold cords. Will these students please rise together to be recognized? The following students will be receiving their diplomas with highest honors. Those with a grade point average of 3.9 or above, summa cum laude. Will they now come forward as I call their names and receive a certificate to acknowledge this outstanding academic achievement? Amanda Applebaum. Lee Keller. Russell Kruder. Bridget Lanahan. Megan Michaels. And William Skolnick. Those students graduating with a 3.7 to 3.89 will receive their diplomas magna cum laude. Will these students please stand as a group and be recognized? Those with a GPA of 3.5 to 3.69 will graduate cum laude. Will those students please stand now to be recognized? Dean Thomas, will you join me now in recognizing both the Salutatorian and valedictorian for the class of 2013? Amanda Applebaum, please come forward. Annually, the Dean presents an award to the Salutatorian, the second highest ranking student in the class. Amanda graduates with a grade point average of 3.974. Congratulations to Amanda, this year's recipient of the Salutatorian Award. Russell Kruder, please step forward. Each year, the McDonough School of Business presents the Valedictorian Award to the highest ranking graduate in recognition of outstanding achievement. This year, receiving an engraved silver bowl will be Russell Kruder, who with a GPA of 3.979 is the highest ranking student in the class of 2013. I now invite Mr. Kruder to say a few words on behalf of the entire class of 2013.
Thank you very much, Dean Sharp. Good morning, Dean Thomas, Dean Sharp, distinguished faculty, honored guests, family, friends, and most importantly, all of you guys, my fellow graduates. Well, it's a tremendous honor to stand before you today. I can't help but think of the many students at Georgetown whom I would love to hear speak. It's important to note that this award is just a GPA award, but what's more important for me today and always are the amazing things that all of you guys have done, both in the classroom, but more importantly, the things that you guys have done outside of the classroom. For the past 4 years, you guys, my classmates, have supported, encouraged, challenged, frustrated, dazzled, inspired, and humbled me immensely. Both of your academic achievements and your entrepreneurial pursuits, social justice work, and leadership outside of the classroom. So one more time, please congratulate all my fellow graduates. I would also like to take a moment to thank all of our friends, mentors, professors, academic counselors, and parents. It's needless to say that this day would feel empty if we did not have such incredible people with whom to share it. It would be impossible for me to stand here today and try to say something that applies equally to all of us or somehow to encapsulate our Georgetown careers. We have all danced, both figuratively and literally, to wildly different beats here, which is one of the reasons why this school is such a remarkable place. What I'll do instead is share 5 lessons, very practical lessons, that I learned at Georgetown, which have added tremendous value to my life and hopefully strike a chord with you, or better yet, inspire you to create your own list of lessons. With that said, here I go. My first lesson is always look for the good. Always look for the good. To elaborate, let me tell you a story from my sophomore year. During my sophomore year, I lived in a Village A apartment with 3 other sophomores. I was in an apartment with the rooms and bathroom on the 2nd floor and the living area on the 1st. One of my roommates was one of my best friends, but I didn't know the other 2 very well, so the first month was filled with some pretty strained conversations. You guys all know the type. I was about to go to bed one night when my roommate came in and told me that the toilet was clogged. Excellent. After assessing the situation, I did something that every single person in this audience has tried at least one time, but has never worked in the history of humankind. I flushed again. For a split second, you always think it's going to work. But then the water starts to rise and rise and rise. And in about 15 seconds, we had 3 inches of water on our floor. As the responsible Georgetown students that we are, we went downstairs to watch TV. It was about midnight. We'll figure it out in the morning. After about 5 minutes, though, the first hole in the ceiling appeared. We rushed over and put a towel under it. But then another sprung up, and another, each one stronger than the next. What did we do, you ask? Well, first, we immediately called the on-duty facility man, the poor guy who has to field all of the late-night facility issues, and after about an hour, he arrived. At last, our proverbial knight in shining armor. He would know what to do. He immediately rushed to his van and brought back a pencil. Yup, a pencil. He then proceeded to jam that pencil into the ceiling, which merely widened the hole and increased the flow of water onto our dining room table. In retrospect, I imagine that he was trying to prevent the collapse of the ceiling, but in that moment, it seemed and felt like cruel mockery. Anyway, that was all I could do that night. He shrugged sheepishly, kindly told us goodnight and God bless, and was on his way. So there we were, tired, annoyed, with about 2 gallons of water on our floor. But you know what? That night was the hardest I laughed at Georgetown, and it was a moment of bonding that we needed for our apartment. So frame things positively, look for the good. If you do, you will not only be happier, but will also become a better leader. People are attracted to those that have developed the ability to find the good in otherwise miserable and challenging situations. I've met a handful of students like this at Georgetown, the type of people that always, and I mean always, have a smile on their face. These people are contagious. You want to be around them, you want to follow them. So the first lesson that I learned was that you either have to be this person for others or surround yourself with people like this. My second lesson, I guess a slightly more academic lesson, is avoid the fundamental attribution error. What does that mean? In the most simple terms, it describes the function of our default settings. It is a function of our default settings to think that the homeless dude on the corner is lazy and stupid, or that the kid that cut in front of you at Leo's is a jerk, or that the driver that stole your parking spot is selfish. And you know what? They might be. But they also might not have seen the line, or they might have been in a rush to call their sick grandma, or tutor an at-risk student with DC Reads. This is ridiculous though, right? Definitely not true. And you must be thinking that these explanations are unlikely. And you know what? They are, but they aren't impossible. The point is, you have a choice. You have an opportunity to make a conscious decision. You can either fall back on your default settings, or you can actively overcome these settings and interpret life stimuli in positive, meaningful ways. You'll never know if that kid actually is a caring tutor, but you can control the way you interpret his behavior and thus your own disposition. During my freshman year at Georgetown, I let my default settings drive me, and it was miserable. For the past few years, I've tried to overcome this setting, and I've been significantly happier as a result. As David Foster Wallace wrote in a commencement speech in 2005, and I quote, "The really important kind of freedom involves attention and awareness and discipline and effort and being able truly to care about other people and to sacrifice for them over and over in a myriad of petty, little, unsexy ways every single day. That is real freedom." Our sacrifices for others should be to overestimate, not underestimate situational effects. It takes a tremendous amount of effort, and I'm not close to being there yet, but gaining this freedom is the only way for me to be consistently happy. That's my second lesson. Next up is seek out level 2 moments. I did not have the opportunity to take Father Curry's class, but my roommate Zubin Teherani did, and he relayed many of his best lessons. The one about level 2 conversations was my favorite. Father Curry's theory is that there are 3 levels of communication. The first is filled with the banalities of everyday life. The most common and most meaningless conversation at Georgetown is one that we have all had thousands of times on our way to classes. The, "Hey man, what's up? Not much" variety. Good, right? Level 3, on the other hand, is the euphoric high that accompanies days like Georgetown Day. As Father Curry explains, these 2 levels serve a purpose but are mostly devoid of meaning. Level 2 is where we create that meaning. I've experienced this at Georgetown with my closest friends, my girlfriend, and on alternate spring break. I know all of you have experienced these moments as well because our Jesuit education has helped us see the incalculable value of these moments. They are pure, honest moments that have the power to energize you, quench your heart, and inspire you to pursue your passions. They're expressions of our shared humanity, and in my opinion, the most beautiful thing in this world. But they're also rare, and after college, I fear they will become exceedingly rare, especially if we don't seek them out. For me, they are most present during my work with the CSJ, Center for Social Justice, on bike rides in the Potomac, or on sunny days on Healy Lawn. But everyone is different, so find what works for you. My fourth lesson was be in the moment. Philip Zimbardo recently wrote a book entitled The Psychology of Time. In his book, he discusses the marshmallow experiment, a famous experiment conducted by Walter Mischel at Stanford in the late 1970s. In this experiment, Mischel gives a child a marshmallow and tells her that he will give her a second marshmallow if she doesn't eat the first until he returns, which is about 15 minutes later. 2/3 of these children are unable to resist and eat the marshmallow right away. Interestingly, in a follow-up many years later, Michelle found that children who were able to postpone gratification and not eat that marshmallow right away had better life outcomes, including SAT scores that were on average 250 points higher than the less patient children. Look around you. We are these people. We are experts at delaying gratification. We constantly make sacrifices in the present for future gains. This enables us to not only get into Georgetown, but also succeed. However, we shouldn't be afraid to strike a balance. It is unbelievably tempting to plan out the next 5, 10, 20 years of your life, perhaps 2 years in an investment bank, and then a few years in private equity, before entering business school, getting married, having kids, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Don't do it. I think many of you would agree that the best times at Georgetown are right at the beginning of the semester or right after exams end. A moment of peace washes over all of us, and for a day or two, maybe, we live in the present. And I will argue that it is the most alive that you feel all semester. We are about to enter the first truly unscripted part of our life. There is no endpoint 4 years from now, and it feels pretty awesome. Wouldn't you guys agree? So let's explore the present, let's embrace opportunities to improvise, and on occasion, let's eat the metaphorical marshmallow right away. My last lesson learned is about wind. Professor Carlson, a professor that served as my mentor and friend for the past 3 years, once told me, most people are limited in that they must go the direction the wind will take them. However, he said, Georgetown students have the distinct and formidable challenge of deciding where they want to direct their wind and to propel themselves and others. It is easy to be overwhelmed by the countless problems and injustices in our world. I was when I first arrived here. The feeling intimidated and handicapped me. I didn't know where to start, and I sat on the sidelines for far too long. I think the first and biggest step is realizing that you won't solve all the problems. You can't solve all the problems. But do something and pour your heart into it. Armed with the Jesuit values and the skills that we learned over these past 4 years, we can all be winds of change. Stand up for your values at work. Be a good neighbor, an exceptional friend, an inspirational professor, a great parent. Georgetown students are unique in that we embrace opportunities to make meaningful change. It is what sets us apart in the many arenas of life in which we compete. I want to leave you all with a final quote from Pedro Rupe, the former Superior General of the Jesuit Order. He said, and I quote, "What you are in love with, what seizes your imagination, will affect everything. It will decide what will get you out of bed in the mornings, what you will do with your evenings, how you spend your readings, how you spend your weekends, what you read, who you know, what breaks your heart, and what amazes you with joy and gratitude. Fall in love, stay in love, and it will decide everything." Thank you.
Thank you for those words of advice. It is now my pleasure to introduce the Deputy Dean of the McDonough School of Business, Dr. Pietro Rivoli. Dean Rivoli will present the awards to faculty members who have distinguished themselves during the 2012-2013 academic year in the areas of research, teaching, and service. Dean Rivoli.
Thank you, Dean Sharp. The Faculty Research Award is presented annually to a McDonough School of Business faculty member who, through his or her research efforts, has distinguished not only his or her own career, but also the school and the university by producing research that is at the cutting edge of his or her particular business discipline, and which has found publications in the most prestigious of venues. This year's Research Award goes to Professor Catherine Tinsley. "20 years ago, the Executive Council approved an annual faculty award to honor the teaching excellence of a business school faculty member. The first recipient of this award was Professor Joseph F. Lemoyne, who retired after 30 years of distinguished service. The award has been endowed by a group of Joe's former students as the Joseph F. Lemoyne Award for Undergraduate and Graduate Teaching Excellence. This year, the award is presented to teaching Professor Arthur Dong. Distinction in teaching and research is complemented by distinguished service. This year, the Faculty Award for Extraordinary Service goes to Professor Stanley D. Nolan. The Peter W. Gonzalez Jr. Award for Excellence in Adjunct Faculty Teaching is presented to James Basie. Mr. Basie is retiring after teaching in the MSB for 36 years. Unfortunately, he's unable to join us today. Okay. It is now my pleasure to present on behalf of the MSB Academic Council the 2012-2013 Academic Council Professor of the Year Student Choice Award. As the name implies, this award is given to the professor selected by the business school student body. This year's awardee is Professor Charles Scuba, Professor of the Practice in Marketing. Now it is my great honor to introduce the Dean of the McDonough School of Business, David A. Thomas.
Thank you, Dean Rivoli. Awardees of the class of 2013, I want to thank you for the opportunity to stand here today. We are here because each of you, in some measure, has strived for and demonstrated excellence. My hope is that your awards represent not just your ambition, but your commitment to excellence, and a commitment to take full advantage of the privilege to be here at Georgetown. These are things that I hope that you take with you in life: to be committed to excellence, to take full advantage of extraordinary opportunities. There will be many in your lives. And today, each of you has received your awards as individuals, but I feel obligated to remind you that you have been part of a larger project, a project that began in 1789 with the founding of Georgetown University. A project defined by our Jesuit values: to be men and women for others, to ask for more so that we can do more for the world. What does that mean for you who have prepared yourselves in the study of business? Many of you will go into professions that people do not always associate with being for others. What I think it means for you is that no matter where you find yourself, you will act as principled leaders, willing to put others before yourself, that you'll have a global orientation and see the world as an interconnected community that allows you to connect to those who are different from you, those who are less fortunate than you. And you will use your business acumen and influence to always serve the interests of both business and society. That is the larger project that you are now a part of. Now, envision for a moment a target, bullseye. At the center of that bullseye is the purpose of the McDonough School of Business: to produce principled leaders who make a positive difference in the world. And imagine for a moment that there is a spear aimed at that target. Whether the spear hits the target will determine whether the class of 2013 fulfills or betrays the purpose of Georgetown University and the McDonough School of Business. You are the tip of the spear. You are the tip of the spear. Ladies and gentlemen, if what you have achieved in your 4 years here at Georgetown and the way in which you have done it is any indication, I have every confidence that with you at the tip of the spear, the class of 2013 will advance and meet the purpose of Georgetown University and the McDonough School of Business. So with that, I thank you for everything you've done. I wish you Godspeed. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean Thomas, for your congratulatory remarks and words of wisdom. This concludes the awards ceremony of the McDonough School of Business. All are invited to join the faculty and administrators for a reception on the PwC Plaza at the Hariri Building. Please remain in your places until all those on stage and all of the graduates have recessed. Now please stand for the benediction to be offered by Reverend Patrick Rogers of the Society of Jesus. And remain standing and join us in singing the Alma Mater.
Let's bow our heads and ask for God's blessing. God, the giver of life, has blessed us this day with abundant joy at having completed a long and often arduous journey. We are thankful for our minds, bodies, and our souls. We are thankful for all those who made this moment possible, for deans, professors, and the staff of the McDonough School of Business. We are also thankful for our classmates and friends, those who labored with us to make a greater good. May we take all that we've learned here and apply it to the greater good of the human endeavor. We have learned in our time here to be better leaders. May we recognize always that our leadership is a gift that is best expressed in service to others. Give us minds and hearts that always seek the magis, the more. And may you bless us all with your divine presence both now and forever. Amen.